Hello students and welcome to SmartKidz tutorials. In this video, we will be covering 4 different chapters: chemical reactions and equations, control and coordination, electricity, and sources of energy. Here in this, we will be looking at the different types of multiple choice questions that can come for these 4 topics, including some short Q&As that you are used to answering. Okay, so let's straight away jump into this video and have a look what type of questions can come and how do we answer them. Let's begin. So it says select the most appropriate alternative and write the capital letters against the numerical. Okay, so there's no capital letters over here, but you can just select the correct alternatives. The first question says the following reaction is an example of 4 ammonia plus 5 oxygen, and that gives us 4 of nitrogen oxide plus 6 molecules of water. Okay, and we are asked to find out whether it is a displacement reaction, combination reaction, redox reaction, or neutralization reaction. However, the choices that are given here tells us that we have to pick any 2 from here. So that means it could be a combination of 2. Let's have a look. We have been given over here ammonia, oxygen that react to give us these products. If you carefully have a look over here, what is happening is this ammonia is getting oxidized, okay, to give you nitrogen oxide. So definitely this is a type of redox reaction. Okay, the other thing that we see that is happening in this case is that oxygen is displacing this hydrogen atom from here. Okay, these two are partners, and in this case oxygen is displacing hydrogen and taking its place. Okay, thereby leaving hydrogen separately. Hydrogen also reacts with oxygen. So this is a type of displacement reaction including redox reaction. Let's look at the answer. The correct option it says 1 and 3. So it says it's an example of displacement as well as redox reaction. Okay, so this is your answer for this. Next one. Once again, this is the second MCQ type question. Electrical impulse travels in a neuron from, and this is a sequence of events that are given. If you look at the diagram of a neuron, first you have its head. The head has got, like you can say, hairs coming out from that head. Those are the dendrites. Those are which receive the signal. Okay. Now, when the signal is received, the head part, that head part we call as the cell body. So, obviously from dendrite, it has to come to the cell body. Once it comes to the cell body, it has to travel further down. So, further down, you will receive the axons. Okay, the main body of the neuron, sorry. And finally, it reaches the legs or the tail part, which we over here refer as axonal ends. Okay, so how does it travel? It travels, the signal or the electrical impulse through a neuron travels starting with the dendrites, then it moves into the cell body. From cell body, it moves to the axons, and finally from axons, it moves to the axonal ends. And finally, the electrical impulse will be converted into chemical impulse, chemical signal, which will then be once again identified by the neighboring um, neuron. Okay, that means the dendrite of the neuron. So this is how signal travels from one neuron to another, and message is transferred, of course. Okay, here you go, dendrite to cell body, axon to axonal end. Next. Electrical resistivity of a given metallic wire depends upon the choices that are given as length, thickness, shape, nature of material. We can rule out shape because shape has got nothing to do with the resistivity. One thing, when we speak about resistivity, the length and the thickness matter. It is directly proportional to the length. That means the resistivity increases based if the length increases, and also decreases if the thickness increases, or that is of the cross sectional area that is we are referring to. Okay, because it is inversely proportional. But one thing that we miss out in this, if it is mentioned over here that the nature of material is mentioned, then that is very important, because uh, electricity can pass through only conductor. That means materials which are able to conduct electricity. Now that depends on the type of material. Metals differ from one metal to another. They may all be metals, they may all be able to conduct electricity, but some conduct electricity better than the others. Okay. Those which conduct electricity better show less of electrical resistivity, and those which do not conduct as much as good as the others show more of electrical resistivity. So in this case, we are speaking of the nature of the material. Let's have a look at the answer. So it says the nature of that. So different metals will have different melting points, boiling points, and so forth. Okay, and so they influence the properties of resistivity as well. So that is why it is like that. Next. Next, which of the following is a non-renewable source of energy? If you have a look, wood, sun, wind, these are all renewable sources of energy. That leaves us with just fossil fuels. That's a very obvious and an easy answer to this easy question. Next. The major problem in harnessing nuclear energy is how to, options given are, split the nucleus, sustain the reaction, dispose of spent fuel safely, convert nuclear energy into electrical energy. Now, all of these are difficult. Okay, it is not an easy technology, and it needs a lot of investment, and a lot of safety is required when trying to harness nuclear energy. But one thing is always seen as problematic in this, in harnessing nuclear energy, whether it is to make bombs, or whether it is even to for peaceful purpose, like for generating electricity in this case. The fact is that once the fuel is used, which can be used for a fairly long time, once the fuel is used, the refuse or the waste that remains out of that, that waste becomes problematic to be disposed of, because it still remains radioactive. Okay, and you have to safely dispose it off. Okay, so when you dispose it off, that area has to be sealed off, because it remains radioactive for many years. Okay, so our answer would be to dispose of spent fuel safely. That would be a major problem. The next question: an electric kettle consumes 1 kilowatt of electric power when operated at 220 volt. A fuse wire of what rating must be used for it? And choices are 1 amp, 2 amp, 4 amp, 5 amp. Let's have a look at the problem solving. So the answer is 5 amp. Let's see how. Given, it says power we have been given as 1 kilowatt. So 1 kilowatt is 1000 watts. Voltage is given as 220 volts. This is the formula that we use, that is power equal to voltage into current. But over here we need to find the current. So we get I equal to P upon V, which is 1000 upon 220. That gives us 4.545 amps. So this is the minimum amount of current that is required. And if this is the minimum amount of current, that means we should at least have it as 5A as our rating of that fuse wire. Next. Which of the following is not associated with the growth of plant? One look at this and you can easily say it is abscisic acid, because abscisic acid is something that inhibits the growth of the plant. Okay, the rest all are involved in some way or either with respect to growth of the plant. Here's the answer. Which among the following statements is or are true? Exposure of silver chloride to sunlight for a long duration turns gray due to, first choice given is the formation of silver by decomposition of silver chloride. So that is correct. Sublimation of silver chloride, no, that's not true. Decomposition of chlorine gas, no, not at all. Oxidation of silver chloride, no, this is a decomposition reaction. So in this case, we don't have a combination of two that is correct. We find that only the first one is correct, that is formation of silver by decomposition of silver chloride. So our correct choice will be in this case A. Next, select the mismatched pair. First one is adrenaline and pituitary gland. Second one is testosterone with testis, estrogen with ovary, thyroxine with thyroid gland. So easily the first one is something that is incorrect, because adrenaline is secreted by the adrenal gland, okay, and the pituitary gland secretes the growth hormone. Testosterone is secreted by testis, estrogen is secreted by ovary, thyroxine is controlled by the thyroxine gland. There you go. Next, which of the following is not an involuntary action? Vomiting, salivation, heartbeat, chewing. Vomiting is not in our hands, neither is salivation or heartbeat. That leaves us with chewing, because whether to chew food or not, that depends on us. That's a voluntary action. The rest are involuntary. And we have been asked which of the following is not an involuntary action. So the correct choice would be chewing. Next. So with this we complete the set of MCQs. There were 10 of them, and now we'll answer a few more Q&As, okay, that are likely to be asked for an exam. The most important ones, or the most probable ones, have been put forth over here. The question is, define a neuron. So neurons are the structural and functional units of the nervous system. Next, this is a problem. Draw a circuit diagram of an electric circuit containing a cell, a key, an ammeter, a resistor of 2 ohms in series with a combination of 2 resistors, 4 ohms each, in parallel, and a voltmeter across the parallel combination. There's another part to this question. State the Ohm's law. First, a diagram needs to be drawn, and the diagram should look something like this. Okay. So in this, everything is covered. There is a cell, a key, an ammeter, okay, then then a resistor of 2 ohms in series with a combination of 2 resistors, 4 ohms each, in parallel. Okay. And you have the voltmeter that is across the parallel combination. Right? So this is how you need to draw this particular diagram. And as for the Ohm's law states that the voltage across the conductor is directly proportional to the current flowing through it, provided all physical conditions and temperatures remain constant. Given by this formula, okay, we get V directly proportional to I, and R, which is the resistance, is the proportionality constant. So this is the formula, V equal to IR. Next, write a balanced chemical equation for each of the following reactions, and 2 of them are given over here. One is given in words, the other one is straightforward, you just need to balance them. So here you'll have to write down in terms of these symbols and balance them. First we'll do that. It says hydrogen sulfide gas reacts with oxygen gas to form solid sulfur and liquid water. So here you go. This is not balanced. This is as per what is given over here. Hydrogen sulfide gas reacts with oxygen gas to form solid sulfur and liquid water. So if you want, you can complete this. You put a small g over here in brackets. Again, small g over here in brackets, because it says gas. This is solid sulfur, so that means you put a small s as well next to this capital S. And for liquid water, you can put an L next to water. Balancing is done this way. So 2 atoms of H2S, that is hydrogen sulfide, 2 atoms of sulfur, and 2 atoms of water molecules. Okay, so this is how you balance this. So important thing is to know how to write this equation, the skeletal equation, and then balance it. Next, we have this equation, and let's see how we can balance this. So balancing is done simply by putting, over here we have a look, then one glance we can say that chlorine atoms are mismatched. There are 4 atoms of chlorine on the reactant side, but only 2 chlorine atoms on the product side. So that is what you need to balance, and to balance that you need to put 2 in front of this magnesium chloride, and if you do that, then chlorine of course gets balanced on either side, but magnesium, the number of atoms increase on the product's end or product side, which means you need to balance it then on the reactant side. So for that we need to put 2 atoms of magnesium on the reactant side as well. That is with balancing. So this is will come for like 1 mark each. Next, mention any 2 limitations in using solar energy. And there's another part to the question, what is biomass? So first we'll address the first part of the question. Mention any 2 limitations in using solar energy. I've listed down 4 of them. You can use any one of them. It says can be harnessed only at those places which get plenty of sunlight. Similar thing holds true even for wind energy. Like you need to be at a particular height where you hear a lot of wind. So same thing you can use for wind energy. In this case, we are focusing only on solar energy. So plenty of sunlight is required. Obviously, cannot be harnessed beyond certain latitude. So at a particular can't be harnessed during night because it needs sunlight. So you can't harness solar energy during night time. Technology very costly. So we know silver and some other materials are involved in making of the solar panels, solar cells. So the technology as of now is expensive. That is why though once installed can give us great benefits, but the initial cost of setup, buying that equipment, that can be a little bit expensive on the pocket. Next, what is biomass? So the fuel developed from natural and organic materials or waste which are renewable and sustainable source of energy is known as biomass. Okay, like your biogas. Okay, it fulfills the definition of biomass. Fuel that is developed from natural organic material, okay, dead decaying matter, including your animal waste, animal refuse, renewable and also sustainable source of energy. So this constitutes the biomass. Next, define 1 volt. Answer is when 1 joule of work is done in carrying 1 coulomb of charge from infinity to a point in the electric field, then potential at that point is called 1 volt. Next, and this would be the last question. Okay, what is rancidity? So this again we deal with oxidation redox reaction. The oxidation of oils or fats in food resulting in a bad taste and smell is called rancidity. So when we keep some food outside, it goes stale. It smells bad over a number of days. So this is what happens. Oxidation of the oils and fats in the food leads to a bad taste, and it also gives a bad foul smell as well. So that is called as rancidity. So these were a set of questions that have been designed in order to give you practice for not only just multiple choice questions, but also for your regular Q&As, including testing your knowledge, how you can apply your mind, and the questions that are listed down over here. If you would like to try it out on your own, then for that purpose, I have made sure this question paper is uploaded to the website. The link for that you will find in the description box below. Be sure to click on that and go to that link. Over there you will also find some more question papers, some answer papers. I'm in the process of setting up setting up as in putting more and more questions over there. As we solve over here, the question papers, the tests will go up over there, so that you can try it out at home and then cross check with the video to see how you have fared and how much knowledge you have gained. Okay, so with this we come to the end of this short video. Such short videos will be done in the future. Thank you very much for being with me throughout this video. If you have any feedback, do not forget to comment on the video below, or you can also send your requests and your messages at smartkidstutorials@gmail.com. If you have any paper to solve or any set of questions to solve, you can email it to me on at this particular email address, and I will definitely solve it, make a video on that, so that not only you benefit but also everybody else. So thank you once again for being with me in this video and for watching this video. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed so far. Share it with your friends as well as classmates. Thanks once again, and keep watching for more such videos. Thank you.